But he does it. He manages to channel. He does it, a little poking around, like a high school kid on prom night. But he manages to get through. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to The Wheel of Time. We're now on to episode 7 of season 2, which is called, I'm probably butchering this, my apologies, Dae'Mar or Dae'Mar, something along those lines. I'm sure I'll get the proper pronunciation in the episode. So last episode was harsh. There was a lot to process. It focused a lot on Egwene, who has been captured by the Shan-Chan, and she is going through the process of becoming a Damane, which we've learned is basically a subculture or subspecies in their minds of their society. And she fought very valiantly to try to resist the training, to resist the ideas. She really tried to get this collar off of her in some way, but she learned that unfortunately it wasn't going to be something that would be straightforward anyways, as far as being able to get the collar off or to hold out, so to speak, against the conditioning that her Sul'dam was giving her. And in the end, she did have to break down and actually submit to some degree because she needs to drink, she needs to eat, she needs to survive. But it was heartbreaking to see all the same, very triggering for some of us, but I still have a lot of hope for Egwene. She's got an iron will in there, and I'm sure that there's going to be some way, somehow, she's not only going to get out of that, but get her lick back. I gotta believe that. Outside of that, we saw that the Aes Sedai that was in Falm, who was helping out Elaine and Nynaeve, she ended up having to sacrifice herself for the girls because they were searching for the missing girls, of course. And it just happened. Unfortunately, they were found, and she did not want these two girls to be captured because then obviously we know that Ishmael's plan would have continued to be successful. So she had to sacrifice herself in the sense of being captured. So hopefully she'll get released as well, because I hate the idea of her ending up in that horrible collar, especially after she worked so hard to free other people. On the other side of the world, we had Rand, who was trying to set up a deal with his demon girlfriend, basically as a plan with Moiraine to try to play on her love for the old Dragon Reborn. He was going to basically play along and pretend to be in love with her and use that to figure out what the plans were or see if he gets some insider information. But unfortunately, his demon girlfriend's very jealous and said, hey, the only way I'm going to help you is if you get away from Moiraine. So he attempted to leave her, met up with Matt, who he hasn't seen obviously in a long time, and the two of them had planned to go to Falm together. But we see that there was a huge interruption in those plans because the Amyrlin seat showed up along with a bunch of Aes Sedai, and we saw that Lan and I always forget her name, the green Aes Sedai showed up and basically said, no, Rand, you can't leave. You have to stay here. So we kind of ended when things were about to get spicy because Moiraine was notified that the Amyrlin seat is in the city and asking for her specifically. And we already know that Lan has filled her in on some things. I have no idea to the extent what Lan told her, but my guess is he told her just about everything because he knows the nature of the relationship that she has with Moiraine. So things should get pretty spicy as far as the information in this episode. So enough of this preamble, time to get into the episode. But just before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I do reactions to shows like this as well as many others in animes and movies, etc. So if you are interested in watching me continue this journey or anything else, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. It just lets you know when I'm going to be uploading my next video. And if there is love for this video, I'd appreciate it so much if you like and you comment as well, because it just really helps a girl out. And I love reading those comments. You guys have been so helpful for me and giving me so much insight and additional info. Without spoilers, please. Without spoilers, please. But yes, I've been enjoying it so much. So yes, hopefully you join the fam. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into the episode right about now.
We don't have to go to Korean if you don't want to. It's just that I haven't seen them since before the war, and love, it's over.
It's not that, it's not that.
What is it then?
I didn't realize she was blue before. New information.
It's so hard to think about any future beyond these walls, and when I think about us, where we'll end up, it's not in this tower. It's in a bamboo hut on the river, like my father and I had.
No, she said
You'll be my next one.
possessive. Wow. I don't think I've seen Moiraine smile that much in the entirety of this series. She used to be happy once.
The war is over.
The Aiel are retreating.
Oh, that war. Wait, she was connected to Rand's mom? What? Why? How?
Are you
Why?
saying something?
The dragon. The dragon is born again.
She knew that.
A foretelling?
It's happening now.
Yeah, it's not really a foretelling of its current. That's a big baby. You were huge, Rand.
You must find the dragon reborn
Why would she not want...
and prepare the world to follow.
Interesting. This woman did not just drop dead. Really? You say that and you have the nerve to pass away? Okay. Well, that's a heavy secret that the two of them have been Wow, why would she... Interesting that she wouldn't want... I'm so curious about why, considering they're all supposed to be working together, that she would say to keep that from whoever the Amelin seat was at that time and just to themselves. That also maybe informs why it was so important maybe for Swan to become the next Amelin, which I don't know if that was her aspiration before it, but no, it doesn't sound like it was. Huh. Hi. That look.
Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, honey. Still processing herself.
This violation.
But what else did Lan tell you?
That's exactly why she didn't tell you. It's a violation.
You know you told her that you found the dragon.
He kind of had to, in fairness. He didn't want to.
I've let you carry this burden for 20 years, love. You've given everything for it. From here on out, I rode beside you.
She wasn't asking.
Tuck in your shirt.
What does the Amulet Seat want from me? Is this a trial?
No.
I left to protect the people I love.
Don't be so selfish.
Oh,
You were born to protect this world. Every person in it.
that's a lot.
Not just the ones you love.
That's a lot. He's like 12 years old. Give him a minute.
Put this on. Give me your blade.
Rand, can you breathe?
You've been learning sword forms.
I've learned a couple of things.
Good for you. Lan would still kick your ass, at least at swordplay.
If you're going to use one of the forms, use carrot crosses the courtyard. Keep your back straight. Every muscle loose, as if hung with more wire at the top of your head.
Pretty. I wish I knew what these symbols meant.
As you've summoned me, Mother, so I've come.
Well said.
Lan has prepared you, I see.
Yes.
I have questions for you.
Fair enough.
And then what?
We have a drink? I wanted to see the questions. Oh, it's okay, Maddie. You'll find your way someday, I know it. Ugh. Who is that? Somebody is probably going to give him a nice new ruby hilted dagger.
Welcome to Farm.
How did he get there so... What? Is that his dream? There's no way he got to film that fast.
I won't lie. Expected you to be more impressive.
Can you just get on with it, please?
Is this a dream?
Yes.
Oh no, you're very much away.
Oh. Damn. But how? So are those ships always there, or is an invasion starting?
Their city was taken just a few months back. Why didn't they fight back?
Maybe they tried. You'd be surprised what people do to survive, Nynaeve.
Those soldiers will be heading to the palace. We'll go straight there, find Egwene. No, you tried your way.
That's true.
This time you listen to me and do exactly as I say.
I mean, I'm sorry. It's come to this, Nynaeve. I'm sorry. I love you, girl, but your plans, you know, it's pretty much Hulk smash. We need to just take it down.
Have any of you experienced defiance from your Damani? It is common. You will test your Damani's strength. Understand the raw power available to her so you can work out how to use it. Let's begin.
Don't even give her more than a trickle, Egwene. Not so much as a trickle!
But if you embarrass me today, you'll regret it.
Oh, I regret every day right now. every day. Add another one. And I hate this hairstyle.
Why do you need an Ogier map of the city?
I don't trust parents that die, even if land does.
I do.
I don't want us separated if there's a Forsaken in the city.
She said what she said.
I'm more concerned about Leandrin.
You should be.
Where'd she go?
Thank you. Eyes open. Y'all have some blind spots when it comes to your sisters. I wouldn't trust nobody. Excuse me.
Aisha Dae. It is my honor to welcome you to House Dae'Mar.
Why is that? So, are you and Lan gonna talk or nope? Still awkward. Cool.
Leave. I have nothing to say to you.
About what I expected.
I have a question for you.
He's like, I'm sitting.
Has there been a time in all these months
Yes.
when you thought about ending it? There would have been 2 women in history who were cut off, who didn't. Most did it within the year.
No, I didn't. Because I know that protecting Rand, guiding him,
That
that is
could be
the
true.
only thing that matters.
That could
more
be
than
true.
me, more than you, more than anything.
Having a purpose is a really good reason to overlook your own suffering.
And this whole thing you're doing with Suan, it puts all of it, the last battle, the fate of the world in jeopardy. What isn't she telling me?
Now you want to talk? I thought you had nothing to say to me.
You can't do this by yourself.
You can't.
And if it's not going to be me, then I thought it might at least be her.
He really loves you, man.
How many times have you channeled?
Not many. Not deliberately. What if I'm tired of being a spoke in the wheel?
You're not a spoke boy. You are the water that turns the wheel itself, or dashes it to pieces. We are meant to cage you.
Pretty much.
And when we go to fight the last battle, you will be the greatest weapon in our arsenal.
This is not a conversation. You already made your decision.
Let her finish.
I won't live in your cage.
She spanked you. She literally spanked you. I'm sorry.
6 months, you've known what you are, and you've learnt nothing. 6 months!
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
We would have been so much better off if you were a girl.
This is my spirit animal. It's like a woman would have had so much more logic about this, but it's okay. It's okay, Rand. You okay?
Rena, what have you named your Damani?
I let her keep her name. Egwene.
Ooh, the mouth twitch. Sister. My sister, how you doing? You do this to another sister, too? It's brainwashing. It's brainwashing, because I know you wouldn't do this.
You will be brighter than her.
Oh, will I?
You will be bright enough that every Soldam in Falm will see you shine.
No, not for you.
I know that you are mine.
Ew. No. Ew. Ugh. Anyway. Focus. It's temporary. It's temporary.
Good, Egwene. This is very good.
I don't... Even when she tries to praise her, it feels disgusting.
Oh! Hema!
Nice. The cat's like, what the hell? I'm trying to take a nap. Oh, my poor old Gear. Someone rescue him. This is so frustrating because on the one hand, I want Egwene to learn to use her powers better, and this is a twisted way for her to do that. But I hate that it's just, that it's feeding into this woman's ego. It's just, bleh.
Wisdom Almira.
Shh.
Elaine Jacquard.
Ooh.
Daughter, heir of Andor.
Get up. Don't encourage her.
Don't encourage her. That's literally her position.
Your name sings in his ears. Now get up. We don't have much time. We need to get there. Now.
There is no way in. Only the Suldam are allowed within 100 feet of it.
Yep.
Go now before anyone sees us talking. We'll get you out too. I swear it.
She means it. She'll blow the whole town up if she can't. Know that. Stop bowing. Let's go later. Just a little head nod. You just, little gangster dab. I'm glad they got to get that little intel exchange.
I lie there thinking about all the people in the world. All of them hurting.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you just walk around creeping people's dreams like the perv you are.
Is this a sex thing?
Thank you for calling it out, because it's weird.
Neither, actually.
Oh, really?
This tea shows you things.
Don't drink it. Don't drink it. Mm-mm. Do not take anything, any food nor drink from strangers who are into death sex things.
15 minutes, and pour a cup for yourself. Only one.
What makes you think I'll take anything that you give me?
Right, that'd be the smart answer, but...
I think you've always wanted to know who you really are, Matt. This, it'll show you.
Sadly, that's an answer we all want. The clock starts. This is so sad because it's really preying on the insecurities that Matt has. We all have them, but for him, it's literally his entire life right now. So he really isn't found. Wait, how are they in the desert? Are wolves supposed to be in the desert?
There's someone in the sand. A woman.
You see well for a wetlander.
Wolf eyes. So she took you to her house. Okay, I'm cool with it. Just saying, this climate is terrible for Afro-textured hair. My guy's gonna need some oils, some butters. This is just not it. Oh, who'd we bury?
Life is a dream from which we all must wake before we can dream again.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Is she about to... What's going on? We're doing some spear practice? Don't interfere. Yeah, don't interfere. She stood there. She knew what was happening. I don't get it either. Oh, Hopper don't like it. Hopper don't like it. So this feels like it might be some sort of punishment because the other girl died, who we don't know. Also, physical pain, nice distraction from emotional pain. All right. Well, that was something. Couldn't even wait for the 15 minutes to finish, eh? I don't know, because y'all been telling me Ishmael is a liar, so maybe this tea is just a hallucinogenic. But I have a small hope that it's going to show Matt that he's better than he thinks he is. Blue's raspberry. Oh, here we go. Shouldn't have taken that drink in the club, huh? Whoop. You about to go on the worst trip of your life, friend.
Damn prick.
Oh, it's mommy. Yikes.
Mom?
Damn prick like him.
That was like her last words to him. Is that making him look like he's hurting all of his friends?
Stop! Stop. Stop!
Just like him.
Damn. Worst drugs ever. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't trust that tea.
The Tower's laws have stood for 3,000 years. It's time we obeyed them.
This is not what we agreed
The
to.
Reds will gentle him. We each had a task, Swan. I was to find the Dragon Reborn. You were to get the Tower ready to support him. Or have you forgotten that day?
But you were supposed to be with him, ready to shield him if he started to go mad, yet here you are, stilled.
You said that and would have ran!
He's no more ready now than he was before you found him.
But he could be.
We shall announce him as Dragon.
I think that's a bad idea.
Here in Kyria.
Oh, Swan, I love you, but I think this is the wrong idea.
Prepare him for what is to come.
This is not the right way to go.
Swan said you were leaving. Where were you going?
He's not going to trust you? Oh, okay. I didn't think he would.
Egwene is there. Ishama has her. I know. They want me to go there.
Okay, Rand. Okay.
If they need me in phone, then they certainly don't want me being held prisoner. where the ambulance feet.
Leave us, Mother. Please.
We have a guest.
This is royal business. Go
Okay.
upstairs now.
Oh. Oh, the sweet little boy has disappeared. Okay. Makes sense, though. If you're gonna marry this queen that's willing to execute a whole group of poor people, you couldn't be that nice.
Why are you here? Aisha Dae.
To deliver an order.
Mm-hmm.
What does our master ask of me?
Damn it. Of course.
Remove her from the board.
She is my aunt.
Exactly. Even she will be unprepared for this. And if your mother suspects anything, take care of her too.
Whoo, Leandrin. Sis, whatever happens to you, happens. Okay. Okay, mama. Yeah, you should trust your sister. I know it's hard, but you need to trust your sister.
You see it now, don't you?
Stop touching. This man is so overbearing with his physical proximity.
And even with the freedom of death, we just come back. Again and again.
You know, speaking of that freedom of death, Ishmael, it's still open for you.
It's just to close my eyes one day.
Make that day today.
And never have to open them again.
Today. It could be today.
Oh.
Oh, Maddie. Rand's calling on his backup. Go ahead, call your demon girlfriend.
I need your help. I'm in the cell in the Sun Palace. The ambulance holding me.
She knows.
I know. Isn't Moiraine with you?
I mean...
Oh, I do like it when you try to manipulate me.
Can you get me out or not, Lenfair?
I ain't got time. Oh, those boots are everything, though. Just saying. The outfit is kind of weird, but the shoes is banging. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of waiting to see people use the one power like this. Because if I had it, come on, you gotta be a little destructive sometimes. With the slick back hair, she's full on her female Loki era. Really? The hairline's what we're worried about right now?
I miss the farm, Alana.
Oh, honey, we're so far from the farm. So far.
Did you expect we would fight the last battle against an army of kittens?
Yes, I did. I'd hoped.
You can see Mel Weaves. What do you see when you look at Moiraine?
Madness is expecting a stray dancer from the man you helped lock away.
Also valid.
There are weaves on her.
Are you telling the truth?
From a man.
Are you telling the truth?
Thousands of strands pulled together, held in place.
If you're lying.
The key.
You think I've forgotten what you did to Grenade Steppen?
Yeah. I don't know if I like that. I know he's a bad and he's evil and crazy, but like, don't play with him like that. At least Moiraine, I think, would actually have kept her promise, or at least killed him. I mean, I'm sorry, Suan. You kind of brought this on yourself, sis. What were you thinking? I love shots like that, where it's like destruction and you just have one person calmly walking through it. Lanfear's a bit of a badass. Still don't like her, but, you know, I gotta respect it.
So you're all just fine now.
Oh, please, like dudes don't beat each other up and then are besties after. Come on, sir.
Defending myself when Jolyon took the sword to her back that killed her. It's my fault she died.
Ah, so I was right. Atonement.
This ring, it means you're owned by a wetlander woman, yes?
Owned? Damn. What kind of?
Farm.
Not them just making their way to Falm coincidentally.
What do you think it'll do when we try to put it on? I don't know. But I hope it hurts.
Does it work on Sultan?
Fits well, don't you think?
Okay. So it goes on a woman, period? I don't know. I don't understand if the collar just works on a woman or if it works with women with powers. So many questions.
Pull up your sleeves.
No, you're not gonna bathe me, you freak. I hate this. Ugh. She's cleaning her, and yet it's making me feel incredibly dirty. Don't care.
To unite every person on this planet under the light.
Yeah, forced conversions never worked in the history of ever. But you keep that dream.
And we will only be able to fight it if we stand together, including you and me.
No, there's no you and me.
Anna. Yes, quite.
Please say something rude.
I will kill you.
Yeah, know that. Did you see how she meant that from her soul? Yeah, you're not gonna be besties, hun. That's right. Remember your braid. Gives you strength just like it does Nynaeve. Mm-hmm. Oh, your mama.
I didn't think you would do it.
Outplayed you. Yes.
Why do you think that we've risen so far, so fast, Mother? I am to be king.
Only if you live.
Mother, Moraine doesn't care about you.
Oh, honey, you don't even
She trusts
understand the depths of their relationship, hon.
And she will not give us a second thought.
I know.
Yeah, she's known her longer than you have.
My sister understands better than anyone.
Let us in?
The difference between right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And how much harder it is sometimes to do what is right.
Amen.
You can't tell the Queen.
I'm
You
sorry.
can't tell anybody.
Are you giving me orders from behind the door of the cell?
Mother.
Woo! The Mordred, whatever their last names are, they're formidable. They are a force.
I'll take your shield.
She won't. I don't think so. I don't know. I like Baron.
Don't let her get close to you.
Oh, so hateful. You'll never replace her in Swan's heart, so just relax.
The Dragon Reborn. I'd say you'd spent long enough in Kyrian, wouldn't you?
Farm, Toman Head.
Above Toman's head shall he proclaim himself, bannered across the sky.
We gotta.
Just make sure that we're not followed.
You're not alone in this any longer, sister.
Right? Rely on people. Oh, at least a nod.
I hope you're worth this, boy.
Oh. But me, same. Can we get him a cloak or something? Rand's big, red, bald head just be such a beacon. Like, anyone can see him. He stands like a foot taller than everyone in this town. Where's Leandrin? Oh, that's pretty.
Who's shooting the boy?
Ferin Sedai, you sent her.
Did I? Did I? You bet you thought Brown couldn't lie, did you?
There.
Someone's gonna have to
You'll
open
have to
it.
channel into it. Split it open with sheer force if you have to.
You won't. You're going to open it. Look at Moiraine. With the source.
Lan.
Not just your eyes.
Is there nothing? Did he lie?
It looks like a knot tied together.
That's him.
It's not impossible. Moiraine, stop. Stop.
A skill that's been lost for thousands of years. To tie off weaves and leave them in place. Ishamael didn't steal you. Not even a Forsaken could do that alone.
Ah.
It is a shield that he's tied off. Which means
it can be untied.
It can be removed.
Yeah.
See, this is why you need land.
You'll have to cut it.
Do we have time? Do we have time? Can we do this in the way gate? In the ways?
I trust you.
She does, and she's desperate. If we're gonna do it, can you do it quickly, please? I'm nervous. I'm sweaty. You can do it. You can do it, Rand. I know I've been on your ass all season, but please, if there's anything I know you can do, it's this. Rand, I never said a bad thing about you, boo. I never said a bad thing about you. Wait, let me see if it actually works first. And thank you. Yeah.
I am sorry it took me so long to do my duty.
Can we open the way gate though? This is beautiful, but can we go? Someone's coming, she's gonna be pissed. Oh, she's like, thank you. Oh, this is crazy because, you know, she's doing this, but she's also just savoring this feeling at the same time. I completely, this is beautiful and crazy and sad at the same time. Yes, you did that, girl. Never taking your powers for granted again, are you? Okay, let's get in the gate. Chop, chop. Rand, why are you still behind her? Let's go. Knew it. Fracking knew it.
Stop. Close the way gate, Moraine.
Nope.
You lied to me about being stilled.
She didn't.
I cannot.
You know that.
I'd be more truthful with you than anyone else.
We failed, Moraine.
I don't want to force you.
You won't?
You swore to obey me on the oath that I'm ungrateful.
Moraine Dae'Mar.
No, if you have ever loved me, don't
I
do
command you to close the way gate.
Damn. I guess you've effectively broken up. I'm sorry, but y'all took way too damn long. Well, that's the end of your relationship. Yeah, no, that's a trust level broken that will never be repaired. Thank you. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but I'm glad Lanfear's here.
She's too strong, Samantha.
Yeah, she warned you.
No.
She helped.
I told you the next time I saw you two together, I'd kill.
You're not going to touch her. None of you want my help.
Lucky for you, a broken Amryn is more useful to me than a dead one.
Oh my god, she did that super fast. You need to learn from her. Lanfear, you giving out lessons? I feel like my girl Moira might be up for signing up. Swan made her choice, honey. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, and you have to do the flashback, like an extra kick to the gut. No. The same way you had to make a choice, Moiraine's gotta make hers. Maybe y'all will be able to figure it out if you survive this thing. That's it? No! Come on! Oh, I was kind of hoping we'd go back to our little wolf man there. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 7, and I still don't know what the episode title is specifically, what it means. But that was a lot. That was a lot in this episode, and I saw quite a few things that made me very happy, and a few things, more than anything, I have questions. I have so many questions about this episode that I'm kind of scared to ask them because I really don't want spoilers, but these are the things where obviously reading the books would probably give more context. But oh my gosh, I guess we should just go through character to character again because it's just the easiest way for me to keep my thoughts together and remember what happened in the episode. We'll start with Matt. Matt was probably the easiest one in this episode. So we see that Matt was taken by, I guess it was Lanfear, and she somehow got him to Fountain. I guess just because we saw him go, pass out and wake up, it just felt like it was a short amount of time, but who knows how long. I still have questions as to how the hell she got him there. The ways is the only way I can think of. And clearly she's using it. Maybe she was using that same waygate we just saw. But anyway, really not important. She brought Matt to Fountain. So we see that, I'm assuming it's Ishamael has decided to bring all of them to Fountain. That was really what he wants. He wants all of our Two Rivers crew in the same place at the same time. Like, he only really mentioned Rand and Matt, but now we're seeing all of them are there, right? Basically, once Rand arrives, that's going to be everybody. But anyway, he brings Matt there, she brings Matt there, and Shamiel's there and basically says to him, I've made this weird hallucinogenic tea. If you drink it, You're going to find the truth out of who you really are, who you've been through all of your lives. And then you'll see who you are at the core of all of that. Through all the lifetimes you've had and all the experiences, you'll finally know who you are. So drink the tea if you want to know. And he leaves it as a choice for Matt. But sadly, we've already seen that Ishmael is a very good manipulator. And Matt is very desperate. Matt is in a very vulnerable place right now, especially because he had to leave Rand behind again, which is exactly what he didn't want to do. And he's been struggling since last season with his self-worth and understanding his place in all of this. So yeah, Ishmael just knew exactly which buttons to push to get the combination of Matt drinking this damn tea of doom. And like I said, I wasn't sure because I don't know enough about Ishmael's character to know if he is the kind of person who would give Matt the truth and assume he'll make the wrong decisions, or not the wrong decisions, but decisions that will be in his favor, or if it was just a trick to get Matt, to manipulate Matt even further. But I was right, it was the latter. So he drinks the tea, and really to me, all that tea probably did was just bring up all of Matt's actual insecurities and just turn them up to 11, right? Because all we saw was him. Like, and again, I don't know who he was in his past lives. There's been no talk of anyone's past life really, except for Rand's. So whether or not that was actually happening or not, all Matt we saw was we just saw Matt kind of living out his worst fears, with him. I think, I'd have to see, my screen's a bit small here, but I think he was taking the lives of all of his friends, and then we see him with his mom, it's starting with his mom. It's always the mothers, isn't it? It's always the mamas. But yeah, we see his mom basically saying that he's nothing like his father, which psychology 101, right? Your parents are the very first influences we have in our lives, and what they say to us and some of the things that they kind of put in our heads as children can stay with us for life if we don't actively work to change those narratives. And so again, for Matt, sadly, the woman who's supposed to love him unconditionally has basically told him that he was going to be a bad person that she deemed his father to be since he was a child. So that's already been eating at his self-esteem his whole life. And then everything that's been happening recently, Leandrin's, reinforcement of his fears, and now him seeing his mother saying it to him again, and then him doing horrible things. And we hear him screaming like, stop, no, stop. Like, he doesn't want to keep being the bad guy. He doesn't want to keep making poor decisions. And that's understandable of anyone. If you've been making a lot of choices in your life that have been leading you to places you don't want to be and making you feel bad about yourself, you would want that to stop. You would not want to think that your future, especially if you're a young 20-something, that your future is just going to be riddled with you making more poor choices. And we see that he kind of is left almost in the fetal position when it's all said and done with all of this overwhelming input. And then Shamiel's creepy close proximity ass being there saying like, oh, I've lived longer than you and I'm so tired of living the same crap over and over again. And then you think that you're getting released from death, but you just come up in another life and you have to go through it again. I'm tired of it. Aren't you tired of it? Like, do you really want to live the rest of your life in the same twisted dream world I just gave you? Or do you want to be free of it so you know that once you're gone, it's over? And of course, Matt in that moment, of course, right? He's just been overwhelmed with his worst nightmares amplified. So understandably, he's like, no, I don't want this anymore. How do I stop it? How do I make it end? And it's the right plea. Like, I got to give Ishmael the props. He found the right avenue for Matt, in the sense of, yeah, like, you present it like the rest of his life is just going to be misery and torture and hurting people he loves. Who's going to want to keep living that for eternity, right? So yeah, at the moment, it seems like he's got Matt. I'm not writing Matt off yet, though, because he hasn't been presented with an alternative, right? The closest he's been given was that very brief conversation with Rand last episode where Rand said, we need you. We can't live without you. Our lives are better for you. Like, I don't think Matt's heard enough of that, unfortunately. And not that it's everybody else's job to, fluff up his ego or what's the best way to put this? Self-esteem is called self-esteem for a reason. It's supposed to be manifested from within yourself. And he has to develop that sense of self-worth in himself. But it does help, though, to have people around you reinforce that you're not all these things that you've heard and these narratives you've heard are not true. But I don't think Matt's had a lot of that, unfortunately. And so it's just, he needs that. He needs someone else, and people he trusts, people who've known him, people who, really have that insight into who he is as a person. They have to be the ones to be like, hey, Matt, there is another way. Like, even if your life has been crap till now, and even if your past lives weren't the greatest, they don't have to continue being this way. Like, you choose what you want to do. And what's crazy is that maybe it's going to take him further along seeing how things go with Rand, because Rand is kind of the only example he will have of, okay, when Rand was Lews Therin chose to keep the wheel intact and to, take care of all the evil. But right now, as we speak, the Dark is trying to get him to make a choice in this life to help them instead, right? So if your fate was so sealed to always do and be the same things, wouldn't the Dark just want Rand dead, right? Wouldn't the Dark just want Rand out of the picture? Because by that philosophy, Rand should automatically choose to keep the wheel intact again. But they already know that that's not true, right? Ishmael knows that that's not true. Every life, every spin you get in the wheel, you have a choice as to what you're going to do. Just like in life, even if you've made all the wrong decisions for like the first 60 years of your life, year 61, you could decide to turn that around and live the rest of your life better. Hell, it could be year 80 and you're in the last, you could be literally on your deathbed and decide to make the right choices for the last few months or weeks of your life. That still counts. So it's just that he doesn't understand that now. Understandably, he doesn't know that his fate, his future is in his own hands. But yeah, that's what Ishmael is using right now, is that he is young, he's vulnerable, and he's got all of these dark fears that have been just swirling inside of him for a long time. And he knows that he's going to be able to use that to manipulate him. But as I said, I'm going to stay tuned though. I'm hoping, like, it's so early in this story that I don't know where Matt's going to go from here. But I do think, unfortunately, it's going to be more poor choices, at least in the short term, before we see things turn around. And again, I think he needs his friends. Like, I don't think it's any accident, outside of obviously the filming reasons. I don't think it's any accident that Matt has been isolated from the rest of the group so far, right? I mean, Ishmael did want Rand and him to travel together, but you get my point. I think he still wants Matt kind of away from everybody. We'll see what happens with Matt's story, but that's kind of where we ended with him. Moving on to... We can go on to Egwene, actually. Egwene was actually very minor in this episode, which is fine because considering her situation right now, it is far easier for my heart not to see more of her tragic situation. But we see, unfortunately, she's got the mouthpiece, the outfit, like we're getting into it now. And we see that there is now, like, I guess, Domine training that she goes to, where all these other girls who are newly, I would say newly, I have no idea. I'm assuming that it's probably a mixture of the girls that they kidnapped from the fishing village and some people they already had, but digressing. They do a power test, and it's an air spell, apparently, or something to do with air, pushing out air. And it's to test how powerful or the limits of your Domine, which I think is so cute, because how do you know the limits of anyone? How do you know? You don't know anyone's limits, you don't. But anyways, it's cute that they think they do. So they do this test, and we hear Rena, tell her, like, listen, like, don't embarrass me today. If you do, you're gonna regret it. Because we see that whoever is instructing this class is clearly not just evaluating the Domine, it looks like she's also evaluating the Soldam. I don't know whether or not the Soldam only ever get one charge, or if it's a situation where they, get one, and if that one dies or something, they move on to another. I don't know how it works, but I'm assuming that Rena's never had one before, so she's still in the process, I guess, of proving herself as well. And I can understand how, again, being given Egwene, who is this special type of Domine, it's kind of a big deal for her to look good, right? So anyway, they do their test, and Egwene, of course, absolutely nails it. Like, the other girl made, like, effectively, she basically blew a bubble. That's basically what she did in comparison to what Egwene did out there. She literally blasted so hard that it hit the town, and God knows we couldn't see the town from where they were even practicing. So clearly a lot of power there, and giving us an idea as viewers where she's sitting. And like I said, it was a very bittersweet scene for me, because on the one hand, I've said this, like, Egwene does need to train her powers. And I said this in the last review, that I'm not sure why the White Tower takes so long to start training them to do things. I guess it depends on what Aja they want to go into as well. Like, based on what you guys were telling me, not everybody fights. So maybe they wanted to wait for her to choose to be a Green Aja before they taught her more battle spells. I don't know. But anyway, I do think she still needs to learn how to use and channel better. And it's twisted. I hate the method, but she is learning. She is understanding her powers more and actually learning how to push herself and her limits through this crazy experience. So, silver lining. I mean, it feels gross to even say that in this situation, but if there has to be one, she is learning more about her abilities and how to use them. And that's something she'll be able to take with her after she gets herself out. But anyways, she does it, and, you see how upset she is, because the whole premise of this situation, which I think that's the part that's really getting to Egwene, of course, outside of the whole loss of autonomy, is the way that the Suldam and this whole methodology of this twisted situation they have with channelers is that this power doesn't actually belong to the channelers. It belongs to the Suldam. And, she keeps saying we, but she's like, this is mine, your power is mine, we wield it. Like, no, girl, I will. This is me. This is mine. You doing nothing. You're doing nothing but holding this damn leash. That's all you're doing. You're not doing anything. It's me. I'm doing it, right? So, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so yeah, you can see like when she was all happy at the way that Egwene just blew everybody out of the water, she had the audacity to look at her and like basically almost pat her on the head. And I love it. Egwene just keeps, and that's the thing, Rhaena be dumb because Egwene's been giving her some serious side eye. Okay, thankfully the collar does not do anything to like give you a repulsion against side eye, because whole episode Egwene was like, she was just like, girl, don't even talk to me. Don't even look at me, right? So anyway, but we see later on, they're in the cell and Egwene is playing with her braid, which is not something that we've really seen her do much of. We've seen Nynaeve do it a lot, but we already know from way back in season 1 the importance of the braid and kind of how it's a tie to her roots of the Twin Rivers. Or Two Rivers, sorry. And it also is a tie to her past, to the people she loves. And we know that Nynaeve does that when she's kind of nervous or feeling insecure. But I feel like it's kind of cool that with Egwene, it looks like she's doing it to almost garner strength for herself and to kind of root herself and not get lost in this absolutely disgusting diatribe they keep trying to shove down into her throat. So anyway, she's playing with her braid and Rhaena comes in and is trying to show her, you know, reward for doing so well by washing her hands and trying to wash her face or whatever. And I was like, at least it stuck to hands and face, because like, girl, this is getting creepy. But anyway, so you hear Rhaena in here and Rhaena starts telling her about the twisted purposes of the Shanchan. And understandably, Egwene is not interested. She's like, girl, just finish this damn hand wash and get out of my room, please. And finally, when she's all said and done, you know, Rhaena really thinks she's delivered it, right? She's like, girl, I had the right intonation. The voice was on. I had the soft look on my face. I was gently stroking her face. I've got her. I'm reeling her in. I can feel it. And my girl Egwene looked at her, and when she tilted her head, y'all, this is the universal. You have that head tilt, nothing cute's coming out of your mouth after that. Nothing cute's coming out when your head tilt like this. So Egwene tilted her head and said, girl, I will kill you. Know that that's what's going on right now. Like, I may have to do your stupid little party tricks. I might have to flip and roll over and all that stuff for you, just so I don't have to get my ass fried every 2 minutes. But know that in the core of my soul, that I'm simply planning and just writing it, calculating, tabulating all the ways that I'm going to kill you. Just know that, because you can't stop that. You can't actually stop my plans. Thankfully, this collar's not quite that intricate. And I love it. You saw the look in Rhaena's eyes because she saw that Egwene meant that shit. She saw that she meant that shit. So she was all mad. She stomped out, which gave me personal joy. But anyway, I love it. And I love the way that even after she stormed out, Egwene just like, anyway, child, and went right back to braiding her hair. I'm like, yes, girl. Mm-hmm. So that's good. We know Egwene is still in there. The iron rod is still firmly in place. Like I said, it got a little bent. You know, she bent a little bit last episode, but she's not broken. I did say broken last episode, but I just mean she had to break in that way, but she's not broken at her core, and I love that. We got a little taste of that in this episode to let us know she's still there, she's still in it, and the wheels are still turning. So while we're still in Falme, dovetailing into Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine, there wasn't much of them either this episode, but just enough of them. They're kind of wandering around and trying to figure out, obviously, where Egwene is, getting any kind of intel, because they didn't get very much while they were with the Aes Sedai, because they were too busy trying to figure out the collar. They fortuitously end up bumping into Loial, because Loial's given, I guess because of the type of servant he is, he's been given the ability to kind of walk around without an escort, which is nice. But anyway, they talk to him and he gives them the intel about where Egwene is and how, you know, basically the setup. And, you know, of course we saw that Nynaeve was ready to just burst in the way she normally does. And he was like, nah, like there's way too much guards there. No one gets within 50 feet. That's not a Suldam. You're not getting in there without a collar, basically. So forget it. So yeah, and thankfully Elaine, Elaine, like I said, she got on my nerves a bit when I first met her, but you know, she's doing a lot better now. And she basically had to say to Nynaeve, like, girl, listen, we tried doing it your way. It got us knocked out in an Aes Sedai's house. So we're not doing it your way anymore. You're going to listen to me and we're going to do this smart. We're not going to go in with power and force because we don't have enough of it. We're going to be smart about this. So after they get the information from Loial, and that interaction was really cute, actually. That whole interaction with the three of them was adorable. Anyway, we see that Elaine and Nynaeve come up with a plan of let's call her a Sul'dam. Like, let's see what happens. And my guess is that they probably plan to take her clothes and maybe imitate that, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of them would pretend to be the Sul'dam and then keep the Sul'dam choked, you know, collared so she can't say anything. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, they managed to put the collar on her, and like that kind of evoked a lot of questions for me, because I was like, okay. I do remember last episode that the Aes Sedai said that this, you know, that Nynaeve said that the collar is, what is it? She said it's not complete until it's around the neck of a woman. But again, she just said woman. She didn't say Chandler, just woman. So I was thinking, okay, so that means it should go around the neck of a Sul'dam, but I don't think Sul'dams are Chandlers. So if that's the case, then what does it do? How does it work on a woman who doesn't have power? I mean, it looked like it did the same thing it did to Egwene with the, you know, the building the chest plate and everything. So it looks like it did what it normally does, but I'm just wondering if the rest of it still works. And so I guess if they can get their hands on one of the mouthpieces, they can keep her from saying anything. But I don't know. This plan seems shaky. I have a lot of questions about how that collar works to understand whether or not this plan is going to work. But even if they just get to torture a Sul'dam, that might be the other thing. Maybe they just plan on torturing a Sul'dam into giving them information. See if that works. I don't know. It looks like these girls go through a lot of abuse, so she might actually put up quite a fight, but we'll see what happens. So that's what happened with them. We'll have to see in the next episode where that goes, if, you know, the plan goes in either of the directions that I just suggested. Then moving on to all that's going on in Karhane. So a lot went down in there, but the main things were that Rand is being brought in to meet Siuan. She does meet with Moiraine. It's very tense. And she's very upset because apparently Moiraine has been sending her these letters, but she, of course, kept out the fact that she'd been stilled. And she was basically like, why didn't you tell me, right? And of course, this is based on the fact that the two of them, as we know from last season, have a personal relationship outside of the whole Amyrlin Seat, sister of the Aes Sedai relationship. And, you know, there's no answer, really. She doesn't really say much. But it's understandable, right? Because she even says in that conversation, Siuan says, like, why didn't you tell me if that's violation? And it's like, that's just exactly why. Like, when someone feels like they've been personally violated, especially at a very deep level, it's usually extremely difficult for them to talk about that with anyone, especially people they're close to, because of the sense of shame and judgment and a lot of other things that come along with that. So anyway, she basically scolds Moiraine, saying, like, you should have brought me up to speed way before things got to this point. And Moiraine basically is like, well, you know, I thought I could handle it on my own, effectively, right? Which is basically Moiraine's whole mantra, really, is that I can handle it on my own. I got this. But anyway, Siuan's like, no, like, you've been doing this. I've let you handle this for the last 20 years solo. We're not doing this like that. You need help. We're going to support you now because you need this help. And it seemed like Siuan was saying, let's work together now. But really, Siuan was saying, as we discovered later on, I'm taking over. I'm doing it my way now because I don't think your way is working. And this was heartbreaking because in a way, I feel like it was coming from, I think Siuan is just scared, right? Because I don't think, you know, hearing that someone you care about has gone through this horrible thing, which is the stilling, she was probably like, oh my gosh, like that was like one step away from being killed. And she's walking around with the Dragon Reborn who could just lose it and just decide to take her out. Like, I understand. I feel like Siuan's choice to kind of take this out of Moiraine's hand and do it her way was very much a protective move. Like, okay, we did it your way. You almost died. You lost your powers. I'm taking over now because your way doesn't work. But you can't kind of do that to somebody, especially someone who's very independent, like Moiraine is, right? For her, it feels like you're treating her like a child, right? So that's why, unfortunately, even though she said we're going to be like working, we're going to be shouldering this together, she was really saying to Moiraine, I'm taking this away from you. And I would almost think too, she was doing that because Moiraine, she believed was stilled. So she was like, well, now you're effectively helpless. So I have to take this burden on. And that's exactly what Moiraine didn't want too. I think it's another reason she didn't tell Siuan is that she didn't want to be babied or treated like she was lesser than now because she can't channel, right? Even though she's feeling that way. And it's interesting because that kind of dovetails a bit into that conversation between her and Lan, right? Because obviously she's pissed at Lan for going behind her back. But I loved Lan in this episode because he knew he was going to get heat. He knew that she was going to come with a lot of fire for what he did, but he was prepared. And he basically was like, yeah, I know you're mad at me, but the reason I did this is because I feel like if you can't trust me, I know the only other person that you trust almost fully is her. So I figured if it's not me, let me pick somebody that you do care for and trust, which was, like I said, like that's a loving move. Like Lan took all of his pride, put it aside and said, what is best for Moiraine or what I think is best for Moiraine. And let me at least open the door for her if she won't open it herself, right? Of course, he did not know that, you know, Suan was going to backstab him. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he thought, okay, fine. That's their little relationship. She's going to be able to trust. They're going to be able to trust each other. It's going to be fine. Turned out it wasn't fine. But anyways, and then we hear him asking Moiraine afterwards, like, I'm sorry I have to ask this, but, you know, he basically asks her if she's ever been having suicidal thoughts. And he understands that's because apparently when women have been stilled in the past, they don't last long. They eventually just feel like it's too much. And so he just wants to know, like, is that something you've been struggling with? Is that kind of why? I think he's just trying to understand why she's been acting the way she has towards him. And she basically says to him, no, like, it's never crossed my mind. I've got this mission. It's more important than me. And I was going to say that, yeah, I don't think she has either, because when you have a purpose, or you feel you have a purpose, especially one that's bigger than yourself, that would replace a lot of the you know, whatever you think you're feeling or whatever kind of depression you're going through, you would think that's secondary to this bigger purpose. So if she didn't have that, I do think it would have been a different story. But Moiraine obviously has this purpose that's been driving her and acting as kind of a distraction as well from her being able to wallow in the fact that she couldn't use the one power. So, but it just kind of brings in, like, again, what Suan was probably thinking with Moiraine, and also what Moiraine was probably thinking about what Suan would think about her not having her powers, right? She probably was like, I don't need her thinking that I need to be on watch and I need to be, you know, coddled now, kind of thing. So anyways, that was a very emotional conversation. And then she says she wants to meet Rand. Suan wants to meet Rand. She meets Rand, and Rand is basically like, I don't know if I should trust you. Lan says I should, but I already know that y'all don't like me that much. And Suan basically is like, well, bro, you know, we're in a tough place. Like, the code says that we're supposed to keep you under control to make sure that you will help us in this final war, no matter what your thoughts are on whether or not you should be on our side or the other. And Rand's kind of like, well, I don't want to be your performing monkey, basically. I don't want to be caged up and used for your disposal. And as he gets emotional, you see that the weaves are starting to go, but of course Suan's like, boy, you're not even ready. She shields him easily. And then we find out that she's like, no, that's what I'm planning to do, because I don't think that we have any other choice. I think we got to go by the book here. And that's where things kind of go sideways. Thankfully, though, Varen is in town and she's still watching everything go down. And later on, when Moiraine goes to go and talk to Rand, she basically lets him know that, hey, like, I didn't know this was going to happen, but we can't have you stay here. Like, I never wanted you to be captured. That was not what I thought would happen. And then she says, well, you were leaving. Where were you going to go? Rand tells her, and she's like, okay, so we know that Ishamael wants you to go to Faum. And so Rand's like, okay, I knew that. Like, I figured out that, you know, clearly she was trying to lead me there, which I was like, points for Rand. He's not as naive as he looks. And he's like, if that's the case, though, he's like, they're not going to want me to be in prison. Like, I think they can help us. Like, if Suan's not willing to listen to us, I got to ask Lanfear for help. And so that's exactly what he does. He takes a nap, and it's kind of funny to think, it's like, hold on, I need reinforcements. Right? He takes a nap, sees Lanfear, and he's like, hey, help. And Lanfear's like, why should I? You're with that woman I told you to stay away from. And he's like, I don't really have a choice. Like, you're going to help me or not. And so she's like, all right, fine, whatever, I'll do it. But not because Rand asked, right? She knows that really it's because she's got to do it anyway. But that whole thing goes down. And in the meantime, we see that Varen is doing her thing, and she comes in. And when the distraction is being created by Lanfear by burning down the poor people, they just got over a fire that Rand started like a week ago. And now Lanfear came in and just burned everything again. They really need to move. I'm sorry. The people at the gate need to find new homes, because 2 fires, like, they should know something's up with this town. But digressing, with Lanfear's distraction, Varen gets in there and manages to release Rand, and they basically make a plan to get to a way gate that's actually hidden in Carhane, and they basically plan to get Rand there so that they can take him to Faum, because basically Moiraine is on the mind of we gotta follow this through. But also she wants Rand to declare himself the dragon in front of everyone, because that way it takes away Suan's ability, or the Amyrlin Seat's ability, to announce him as their prisoner, which is basically, I think, the main reason they want that Moraine's okay with this whole plan. She also heard about Egwene and didn't want, I think she wants to see what she can do to help Egwene as well. And Lord knows, we know that Elaine and Nynaeve need help. So anyway, while all that's happening in Faum, a little side quest that Lan goes on, he goes and sees Loghain. And at first I'm like, why the hell would he go see Loghain? This makes no sense to me. He asks Loghain, hey, when you see Moiraine, you can see weaves, right? Because you're a channeler. Did you see anything when you look at her? Anything at all? And at first it looks like he's not going to help. But then Loghain, with the promise of being released, admits that he sees weaves around her, that there is a weave on Moiraine. And at first I'm like, would he lie about that? Because it's so hard to tell with Logain. But the desperation that he showed later on when Lan was leaving with the key, I was like, no, he told the truth. So I feel bad. Like, he keeps falling for this. Every time both Lan and Moiraine have like dangled freedom in front of this man, and both times they screw him over. But anyways, so Lan is like, okay, here we go. And we find out that Lan has basically been struggling with something, because that goes back to the question that he asked her about whether or not she was suicidal. He was like, anyone who's actually been cut off from the one power has like, basically it's made them lose it. But she never got that point, like never got to that point. But like, yes, some of it was because of her determination, but it was also because she really wasn't truly stilled. She still had a connection to the one power. So Lan was putting the pieces together, and he realized, no, I think he must have shielded her or bound her somehow. That's what happened. She hasn't actually lost her power. So with that confirmation, he's like, okay, if a male channeler can make it, a male channeler should be able to break it. So we see that when they do escape, when Rand gets, his little escape from the tower, that's a movie, Escape from the Tower. Anyway, they get to the Waygate. Moiraine's like, you got to do this, Lan, or do this, Rand, because I don't have my powers. And Lan's like, pardon, actually, wait a minute. Hold on, Rand, help me out. And so he gets Rand to look at her and use his abilities to look for the weaves. And Rand is like, yeah, there is. He's like, there's like a knot that's sitting, in front of her. So he's like, it's a shield that's been tied off, basically. And so of course Moiraine's like, what? Impossible. And Lan's like, honey, like, hello, you dealt with a guy who's over 3,000 years old. He's got techniques and weaves that have been long lost in the tower, are not talked about anymore. And that's the second episode that they've referenced different techniques and weaves and things that have either been buried or have not been used for thousands of years. So anyway, Lan's like, let's not be silly. Like, let's not act like this man doesn't know stuff that we probably don't know. And he's like, I just couldn't believe that one man could still it. He's like, if it takes 8 Aes Sedai to still one man, there's no way one man can still one Aes Sedai. Like, it doesn't make sense. But he's like, Rand, I need you to use your power and cut through this knot. It's the only way. So, and she's like, I trust you, Rand. And Rand really needs to hear that, because he's just been told over and over again how unprepared he is. But he does it. He manages to channel. He does it, a little poking around, like a high school kid on prom night. But he manages to get through, and he breaks it. And we see that she is, in fact, was just shield. She still has her power. She opens the Waygate. They spend way too much time on her emotional reveal. And we see that Suan does catch up to them, because she figures out later on that Moiraine has done a little reverso uno on her. So she gets in and she basically demands that Moiraine shut the Waygate, because she's like, no, like we're doing this my way. And then she thinks that Moiraine lied to her, because now she sees that Moiraine is weaved even after she told her she was stilled. So Moiraine doesn't have time to explain, because she's like, we gotta go. They have a little fight. It's very sad, but both of them are basically firmly in their stance of like, Suan's like, I believe this is the way and I don't want to bend on that. And Moiraine's like, I believe this is the way and I'm not going to bend. And this is horrible, because like, these people love each other so much, but this happens in relationships sometimes where you have a fundamental disagreement on a very big topic. And sometimes in the moment, or sometimes forever, you just never find a way around that. And so you see the breaking point in their relationship. And we see that Suan said, like, you swore to obey me by the oath rod. Like, basically, we through the one power, you promised you would do as I say. And we see that Moiraine's like, don't do it. Like, don't force me. And Suan's like, if you don't do it, I'm going to force you. And she ends up forcing her. And you can tell it's breaking Suan's heart to do it. But again, she truly believes she's doing what's right for the greater good of everyone. And again, it's a fundamental belief she's holding. And Moiraine, again, really believes in what she's doing. So she has to, she stands her ground and doesn't just give in. So she's forced to close the gate. But honestly, as she's closing the gate, I almost feel like it was a metaphor of them closing this chapter of their relationship. And it's sad because, it's such a crazy thing to have your relationship break over, have a fundamental trust in your relationship broken over. And that's what happened, right? Because even though Moiraine intellectually understands why Suan did this, it's a huge trust violation. Like, we just had a whole episode on autonomy and how important it is to people. And Suan took that away from her to force her will. And even though, like I said, I know mentally Moiraine will understand why she did that, the violation on a personal level is something that I don't know that they're going to be able to get through or get over. Who knows? I hope they can, because it's a sad thing to break up over, but it is what it is, right? So that happens. Lanfear shows up and basically breaks up the party as she needs to. She knocks Suan over, and she said she's broken, so I'm assuming Suan's hurt pretty bad, which makes me very sad. But she's like, you know, she goes to want to kill Moiraine, but Rand says, hey, if you want me to help her, you're not killing her. So she lets her live, opens the way gate, they leave. Suan's begging Moiraine to stay, but Moiraine's like, you know, the same way you had to stand firm and force me to do this thing that was so ugly, I gotta leave you right now because we're not on the same page and we're not gonna be if I stay, unfortunately. So very sad moment there. Rand's in the way gate heading to Falme, and that's pretty much there was a little bit on Perrin, but very little. We find out that Avienda died because one of her sisters was trying to protect her. And so she came back and paid her respects and then went through a ritual that they have where they beat the crap out of her because she died because of her. And now they're good. And they continue their walk. I guess all these girls were all on the same mission to find Rand, I guess, is what I'm picking up from that very short scene. But they have ended up at the borders of Falme as well. So like I said, everyone's converging. We're getting very close to the end of the season, which is making me sad. I don't want it to end, but we have almost all of our group, as I said, in Falme at the same time. So we're having everyone converge. So something's going to go down. I'm not sure what, but what I really want to happen is I would like Nynaeve and Elaine to link up with Moiraine and, you know, come up with a better plan of what I know, whatever they're planning. I know that Moiraine could probably have a better plan so that they don't end up getting themselves captured as well. But yeah, a lot of things are going down. A lot of pieces are starting to move. A lot of players are coming together at once. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a true convergence because Matt is, at the moment, literally laying in the lap of Ishmael. So we're going to have to see what happens when they all get back together and if they're actually all going to see each other again after being separated for so long. I'm very excited. This was a very cool episode in many ways and sad in some ways too. But I'm just happy that my girl, Moiraine, is back to channeling. She's back to being her whole self again. But I also like that it's opening up this door to these older types of weaves and spells and things that they can be looking into and should be looking into, because this war is not going to be played fair based on the Aes Sedai's knowledge. They're going to need to start digging deep. And that makes me excited for, I guess it'd most likely be next season, to see them start to delve into the history more and learn more about like what was forgotten or what's been buried, so they can start to learn and grow and be more. Because yeah, this last battle is going to be a doozy. They're definitely building it up quite well, and I'm enjoying the journey so far. So yeah, that's pretty much the episode, guys. I enjoyed it a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please give this video a like, and of course, keep those amazing comments coming. I love them, and we will see you in the next video.